Trying to manifest before regulating your emotions is like redecorating a house while it's on fire. And I see it all the time. People clinging to vision boards, affirmations, or the next technique, but deep down, they're not creating, they're escaping. So let me ask you this. Are you actually manifesting your desires? Or are you spiritually bypassing by calling it alignment? It wasn't until I understood the ego not as an enemy, but as a part of me trying to protect me, that everything shifted for me. And I share it in detail closer to the end of this episode, so stay with me. Today we're going to talk about why the ego doesn't manifest, what spiritual bypassing really looks like in the manifestation world, and how to finally align with the part of you that does create reality, your awareness, the real you. And this might feel like truth hitting your nervous system, like an attack. So I'll be saying this while holding your hand and saying all of that with love, because I've been there too, and I don't want this to take you longer than it's necessary. So grab your favorite hot or cold beverage and let's get started. Hi, I'm Marta and welcome to my channel. To work with me or explore some of the free resources, visit the description box below. This is the 7th video of my series Manifesting But Make It Make Sense, where we debunk common misconceptions about manifestation. In the last video of this series, we talked about why manifestations fail and why they actually don't. So check out the playlist for more, it will be somewhere here. People try to manifest from the human self, the ego, the symbol of separation in this 3D world. They think it's about thinking positively or scripting the right way. But the truth is, the ego or the human self doesn't manifest. It is the shadow believing it's the source of light. And this goes way beyond just picking a manifestation technique or repeating positive affirmations. Manifestation isn't a game of tricks and techniques requiring you to do something, to get something. It's not a trade. It's an unfolding of truth from your awareness. So what dwells in your subconscious as your beliefs and not really your identity. And here's the kicker. A lot of what we call manifesting is actually spiritual bypassing in disguise. So what is spiritual bypassing? It's when we use spiritual tools like affirmations, meditation, high vibes, and manifesting talk to avoid reality, to avoid our pain, our grief, our fears. When we avoid and thus resist what is here and now, to skip the part where we actually feel, using the big words to avoid the big feelings. And it sounds like this. I don't have time for low vibrations. The Lulu is the Solulu, denying that we feel something negative, denying that we think something negative, something unfavorable, denying undesired belief still dwelling within. But then at the same time wondering why the manifestations aren't here yet, right? Or trying to force a new state out of fear, but really just convincing yourself you're doing the work. But really, you're just avoiding discomfort. You're suppressing emotion. You're bypassing the very healing that would make you magnetic in the first place. And it comes from fear. The ego will try to convince you that it's not safe to feel, but only because it knows that it leads to fearlessness and surrender. And surrendering and letting go of control is the ego's biggest fear. It's like the ego death. And instead of practicing emotional mastery or, emotional regulation that actually gets you there, many people just repeat affirmations, hoping their subconscious mind will just take the hint, but inside they still feel unsafe, still dwelling in that survival mode. And no amount of scripting will override your nervous system, like the letting go method, for example, to process your emotions. And no visualization will cancel your unresolved trauma and release the trapped emotions that then influence the thoughts that you experience. And if you're still here, then please subscribe, because I can see that most people who are watching this channel are not subscribed. So consider subscribing and thank you. So let's get back to what manifesting actually is. The true manifestation comes from the I am, the presence behind the person or the experience. It's not about wanting or doing something to get something. It's about being, aligning with the true self. And you don't manifest from the ego. You manifest through awareness, by becoming the identity that already experienced it and thus is aware of it, thus selecting it through awareness, through naturalness of the beliefs. And as above, so below. And if you would like to know if your awareness is increasing, and I'm pretty sure it is, I have a video about the signs that you're leveling up in consciousness, and you can watch it here. You stop trying to control reality and instead attune to it, matching its vibration. You stop trying to create, and instead, through increased awareness, you realize all has always been here. within. And this is why trying to manifest when you haven't processed your emotions is like painting the walls while the house is still burning. You might make it look cute for just a minute, but underneath, everything is still on fire. And what is fueling the fire? The unprocessed trauma, survival mode, emotions trapped in your body, chronic anxiety, energetic chaos, and not knowing who you are, which all of the above really come from this belief in separation, because that's what generates the feeling of lack, really. It's what keeps your vibration as not a match for your dream reality. They decrease your overall vibe, occupying your thoughts and consuming your energy. But you deserve better than bypassing yourself, and let me assure you that you will 100% experience your desires, so you can lay back. But real talk, I'll hold your hand as I say this. You need to soothe yourself first and bring in the state of peace and experience the natural state of detachment. That's actually a byproduct of this work, to actually experience it in the 3D. It starts with acceptance. It starts with loving yourself 100%. You want to align with abundance? That's cool. Start by making space for the part of you that feels scarce. Do you want to attract love? Amazing. Sit with the version of you that still believes love isn't safe. Healing is not a detour from manifesting. Healing is manifesting. That reconnecting with yourself and coming back to the true self. So here are some signs you might be spiritually bypassing in your manifestation journey. Being determined to stay high vibe all the time, but secretly feel shaming yourself for having a bad day. Avoiding emotions like sadness, grief, or fear because you're afraid they'll ruin your frequency. Blaming yourself when things don't manifest, thinking you did something wrong. Feeling the spiritual superiority or using the spiritual status like awakening, knowledge, and practices to feel above others, better than those unaware. Or avoiding these low vibe people or conversations, not from boundaries, but from fear that they are like poison, that their energy will absorb you too. And the big one, using spirituality as a shield against your own humanity and a way to deny what is. So, how do you know if you're trying to manifest from the ego? Well, the truth is, most people are. And that's not entirely a bad thing. Every desire you have that you want to experience in 3D, not just in your imagination, is an ego desire. The ego wants results in its world, in this physical world. It wants proof. It wants things to happen out there in the world of separation. And that's totally okay. I want you to experience. This is why we're here, to experience life. That's part of the game we're in, experiencing it as a game hero that we are. But the problems arise when we don't recognize it's the ego that's driving and believing that there is something out there. So here's how you can tell. Number one, you're focused on the techniques, chasing the perfect method that will finally work. Number two, you're attached to the outcome, believing you'll finally feel safe or happy once you get the thing. Number three, you blame the technique or the teacher or the Mercury retrograde for when it's not happening, when you're unsuccessful to experience the desire in the 3D. Number four, experiencing it just in imagination isn't enough. You need physical proof or it doesn't count. Then it's like make-believe delulu. And here's what's really going on. The ego wants you to do. It turns everything into a performance. It will even use tools like the law of assumption or your mental diet just to avoid stillness. Just so you don't have to feel the emotions trapped in your body that block the flow of life. Because you're so advanced already. So why would you feel that, right? And that is the spiritual bypassing. That's what really blocks the flow of life. Not lack of the perfect technique, but unprocessed emotion. But true mind discipline means observing those patterns, not escaping them. The truth that most people don't want to sit with is that we don't actually manifest the stuff. We manifest emotions, because emotion is the experience we came here for. In this messy, beautiful, unknown, embodied human form. To experience, to feel, to expand, no matter if the ego gives it a label good or bad. It's an experience, and for God within, that's perfection, because the source just wants to experience. But the ego doesn't want us to feel, it wants us to perform, to achieve, to spiritually outshine others, to chase instead of feel. And I hope that this is landing with you. So here's the truth. Manifesting is really fun, but real manifesting isn't shiny at first. It's messy, raw, honest, present, and abstract for the rational mind. It means slowing down enough to ask, who is the I that wants to manifest this thing? Is it my wholeness or is it my wound? You can't reach higher consciousness by pretending you're not anxious. Healing your anxiety in manifesting is part of the reprogramming of your subconscious mind, not a distraction from it or impediment to fix because you're already perfect and whole. When you drop into the awareness behind your story, your I am, you really stop chasing. That's the surrender and alignment. And that's when things start to flow. And that's when you start to feel like coming back home. And not because you forced things, but because you became a clear space for yourself and accepted yourself in your entirety. The good, the bad, the ugly. In this series, we only have 2 more videos left. And in the next video in this series, I'll talk about self-concept and how most teachers approach it in the wrong way because there's nothing to change, just to realize. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you very much for watching. I know that this video will be helpful, but if you still have some questions, let me know in the comments and tell me, have you ever caught yourself spiritually bypassing? Links to my weekly newsletter, Self-Love Letter, free resources, and ways to work with me are all in the description below, so feel free to explore. And to take my free quiz and get your customized tips on manifesting blocks based on your result, comment below, I want to take the quiz, and I'll provide it to you. These are the videos that YouTube think that you should watch next. And remember, you are brave, you are loved. Be kind to yourself. Bye now.